Some killers try to escape justice. Others try to disappear. The Zodiac Killer wanted something else entirely. He wanted to be remembered. In the late 1960s, a series of violent and seemingly random crimes gripped Northern California, casting a shadow of fear over the entire region. What set these attacks apart wasn't just their shocking brutality, but the bizarre and unprecedented way the killer inserted himself directly into the investigation. He started writing letters to the press. He openly challenged the police. He didn't just want to commit crimes. He demanded attention for them. This wasn't just a killer. It was a performer making his dark debut on the public stage. To truly understand the panic the Zodiac created, we have to look at the world he stepped into. The United States, in the late 60s, was a nation already on edge. The Vietnam War was a constant, divisive presence. Political assassinations and civil rights protests filled the news. It was a time of deep social tension and cultural upheaval. Against this turbulent backdrop, the fear of an unknown, intelligent attacker spread like wildfire. Zodiac wasn't just a local menace. He became a symbol of the chaos that many felt was consuming the country. It all started between December 1968 and the fall of 1969. Multiple young couples were attacked in secluded, remote locations across Northern California, places meant for quiet dates or enjoying the view. At first, law enforcement treated them as separate, tragic incidents. The attacks were in different jurisdictions on different dates, with no obvious links or suspects. But then, the letters began to arrive at the desks of major newspapers, and everything changed. This is where the case took a theatrical turn. The killer, calling himself the Zodiac, contacted newspapers directly. In his handwritten notes, he claimed responsibility for the attacks and, to prove it, he included chillingly specific details that only the perpetrator and the police could possibly know. But he didn't stop there. His letters were filled with cryptic symbols and complex ciphers, daring the public and law enforcement to decode his messages and, ultimately, to unmask him. The killer was no longer a shadow hiding in the dark. He was stepping into the spotlight, playing a twisted game with everyone. This focus on public recognition was what made the Zodiac so different. Unlike most criminals who prioritize escape and capture above all else, the Zodiac seemed far more interested in building his own dark legend. The media coverage wasn't just a consequence of his actions. It became an essential part of the crime itself. Every letter he sent amplified the public's fear. Every unsolved cipher fueled endless speculation and amateur detective work. The mystery of the Zodiac began to grow far beyond the actual crimes, taking on a life of its own in the public imagination. He was crafting his own mythology, one headline at a time. In response, law enforcement agencies across Northern California launched one of the most extensive and complex manhunts in American history. Task forces were formed, bringing together detectives from multiple departments. The public responded with a flood of tips, pointing fingers at suspicious neighbors, co-workers, and relatives. Thousands of potential suspects were investigated and questioned. Handwriting experts and cryptographers spent countless hours analyzing the letters and ciphers, searching for any clue. But despite this massive, coordinated effort, investigators always seemed to be one step behind. The Zodiac remained an enigma. Decades have passed, and the identity of the Zodiac Killer remains one of true crime's greatest unsolved mysteries. The case still haunts us, not because of a lack of effort from investigators, but because the killer was so successful at controlling the narrative. He was a master of misdirection, leaving behind a trail of taunts, puzzles, and questions instead of concrete evidence. He denied his victims' families any sense of closure, leaving them with a permanent state of uncertainty. His true legacy isn't just the crimes he committed, but the questions that linger. The Zodiac Killer was never caught and never faced justice. But in a chilling way, he achieved the one thing he seemed to crave more than anything else: a legacy of lasting, infamous attention. He ensured he would never be forgotten. In our next episode, we will take a closer look at the specific attacks and the timeline of terror that investigators desperately tried to piece together. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss it. Thanks for watching.